Hey there, I'm Douglas from Draftbit, and in this video, we'll dive into the audio player component. The audio player allows you to add audio playback to your app seamlessly. Whether you're using its default interface or creating a custom player with actions, this component gives you the flexibility to craft an engaging audio experience for your users. Let's get started. First, I'll head over to the component picker. Then I'll click Add. Then under Search, I'm going to search for Audio Player. And once I see that, and then I'm going to click Add. And the first thing that I need to do is I need to click on the audio player. Then I need to go to the Data tab. And first we have Source. Source is where we'll be able to add the audio URL where the player is going to find our audio file. So this can be a URL that's living on the internet. And for this is going to be a variable. So I'm going to make it a variable called URL. And in Draftbit, when you have these curly braces, it automatically creates a variable for you. And this variable is called URL. And what I've gone ahead and done, I've created a variable called audio, and it has a link to an audio. So here I'm just going to point it out. So now the audio player is going to look for a file. It's going to see that I've provided it a link. It's going to go to that link, and then it's going to stream that file. And that file right now, it's a MP3 file of a video that was done on Draftbit. And let's just test that out. So we go to our device preview, make sure we're on web preview. Then we're going to play the audio. Then we're going to hit play.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's David Draftbit. And we've released a Lottie component to show Lottie animations. So I'm going to show you how this works. You can see I've got an example.
Hear the audio. Now that we have the audio source set up, let's move on to configuring the audio player. So here we're going to head over to config. And the first thing that we're going to see is the component name. So here you can change the name of your audio player component. By default, it's called audio player. And if we're able to change this, it's going to be reflected in the component tree. Then up next, we have mode. And the first mode is called interface. And this is a bit self-explanatory. When you have it as interface, it's going to display the UI. So this is going to be the play button, the duration that you see here, the track that you see here. So this is under interface mode. And then when we have headless mode, it means that the audio is not going to show us a UI. Why would you want to do this? So this is maybe you want a page where you want to build your own custom player. For example, there's an action whereby if you hit this action, it's going to play the audio. If you hit another action, it's going to stop the audio. So maybe you don't want the player to be visible. You just want the audio to be playing. Let's have that back to normal. Then up next, we have loop audio. So let me enable that. Then start playing the audio.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Go to the end.
But
and then I want to see if it loops.
Pretty low down. Yeah, that's a quick look at the Lottie animation. Works on web, iOS, and Android. So excited to give it to you guys and let you have fun with it. Let us know what you think. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's David Draftbit.
The video ended,
and we've released a Lottie component
started
to show.
So that's what loop does. Let's have that back to normal. Then up next, we have interruption mode. So this property defines how the audio interacts with audio from other applications. Should it lower the volume or should it stop? So for example, if you're listening to audio inside your application and someone calls you on your phone, do you want the audio to stop or do you want to lower the volume? So this is where you decide that. Then up next, we have plays and backgrounds. When enabled, this settings ensures that the audio continues playing even when your app goes into the background. So sometimes, let's say if you're building a music player, even if someone turns off the screen of the phone, you want the audio to keep on playing. But then there are some cases, maybe you're building a meditation application. You don't want the music to keep playing when someone has left the application. So that's where you decide that here. Then lastly, we have volume. 1 is the maximum, and then if you have 0.2, so 0.0 is the minimum, 1 is the maximum. So now 0.2 is like a low volume.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's David Draftbit.
Right? I can hear that, but I'm not sure if the mic is picking it up. And then if we go on 1.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's David Draftbit.
Volume.
And we've released.
Now that we've set up the configuration, let's move on to customizing the look of the audio player. So we're going to head over to Styles. And the first thing that we see is the completed track color. This property lets you change the color of the completed portion of the audio track. It gives you the ability to match the player's look with your app's theme or design. So when we're playing this audio,
Lottie component
let's say
here,
we're in the middle, what color
and
do you want the completed part to be? Right now, it's just a background of white. But then I can say I want the color to be red. So as it completes, the color is going to become red. So now when I play and go to the middle, you see that the color of the completed part
where the
is now
file gets loaded.
red. So that's what that controls. And then when we move forward, we're just going to be resetting everything back to normal. Then up next, we have hide duration. So if you don't want to display the current track duration of the audio track, you can use the hide duration feature. So hide duration, we won't be able to see the numbers that were showing us the duration. They disappear. Let's have that back to normal. Then we have hide playback icon. So now this is a bit self-explanatory. We have a playback icon here that when we click it, it plays. We can hide that. And now we're no longer able to see it. And what I should do, let me zoom in a bit so we can see it properly. Let's reset everything. And up next we have hide slider. So the slider is basically the track. So this is the track which is showing us where we are. We can hide it. Then we see we no longer see the track, but we can still play the audio.
Hey, what's up?
Then remaining track color is going to be the opposite of completed track color. So it's going to be this part. Then we have thumb color. This round part that's moving on the track, that's called the thumb. We can change the color. And now you see it's now red. Let's have that back to normal. Then the toggle playback icon. So this is this play icon. We can also change that color. So let's make it red. Then now it's red. Then we can also change the size. So basically this just allows us to customize the audio player to match our app design. Now let's explore the available interactions for the audio player. So if we head over to interactions, we have on playback status update and on playback finish. So this runs when the playback status is updated. So basically by updated, we mean when the audio starts, when the audio pauses, or when the audio stops. This trigger is going to run. Then we have this trigger on playback finish. When the audio finishes, this trigger is going to run. So we can test these triggers out. We can click this trigger and then it's going to open the action editor. And I'm just going to console log. And what I want to console log to the screen is the playback status so that we can see it. Now let's close this. Let's have this back to normal size. And what I want to do, I want to open the console. I'm going to remove everything that's in it. And then now when I play, I should see on the console the status. So now I've played the audio, then I'm going to pause it. And you're going to see we have a bunch of activity that was happening. And if we try to expand this to get a closer look, we're going to see that it's an object and it says is playing false, is loading false. And then it's going to give us a bunch of information. And then there was a certain point, right? So at the start, it wasn't playing. That's why is playing is false. And then when we clicked the play icon, is playing became true. And then in the end, we paused it. So is playing became false. So it's giving you direct snapshot to the activities that are happening. And then this one on playback finish, if we can console log this, so we come here, then I'm going to console log this. So this is going to run when the audio finishes. And in here, I'm just going to say audio is done. And what I want to do, let me delete this so we don't get a crowded console. Remove everything. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to play this audio and I'm going to try to put it towards the end.
All right. And you can give the bounding container pretty limited, but let us know what you think.
And as you can see, the audio is finished. And in the console log, it says audio is done. And these interactions, we don't just want to console log. So in a real application, you might want to do something when the audio is done playing. Maybe you want to navigate to the next audio. Maybe you want to navigate to the next page. And that part where we're seeing the status of is playing, is buffering. Maybe if it's buffering, you want to display that to the user that, is still loading. Just wait. Then finally, we're going to look at actions. So these actions control the playback of the audio based on triggers and other events inside your application. We have play media, pause media, seek media position, and toggle media playback. Yeah, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you two. So play media and pause media. So what I want to do is I want to have two buttons. So I'm just going to add 2 buttons. So button 1, then button 2. And you see the buttons are touching. So I'm going to go to styles and add some gap. So gap is just space between components. You're going to see we now have space. Then we go to the first button, data. Then I'm just going to say play. Then the second button is going to be pause. Then on the first button, when we click this button, we're going to search for the first action. And the first action is called play media. And then it's going to ask us what media, what component do you want to target. So this is where the component namings are going to be important. So imagine you had 10 audio players, and in here you didn't give them proper component names. You would then become confused as to which component you're trying to pick. But then in this situation, we just had one, so it's much easier. I can just pick audio component. Then I'm going to close that. Then for the second button, when it's pressed, I'm going to look for the pause media. Again, it's going to ask me, what do you want to pause? I want to pause the audio player. So now, when I click the play button, it should start playing.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's
And
David
you
at
see, it starts
Draftbit,
playing.
and
when I
we've
click the
released a
pause
Lottie
button, it's going to
component to
pause.
show.
So these actions, they're not part of the audio player, but they have the ability to control the audio player. So there are some situations, maybe you want the audio player to start playing when a user opens the page. You can set that up here. You can kind of go crazy on how much you can customize this audio player. Then after this, we have seek media position. This action updates the play position, so you can go to a certain point, right? Then lastly, we have the toggle media playback. So what this does, it just does the opposite of what's happening. So if the audio is playing and you hit the toggle, it's going to stop playing. If it wasn't playing and you hit the toggle, it's going to start playing. And that's a wrap on our tutorial for the audio player component. We've covered everything from adding the component, setting up your audio source, customizing the player's look, configuring key settings, and even triggering some actions. Now you can create fully functional audio players inside your applications with full control over how they look and how they behave. If you have any questions or need any further clarification, please feel free to drop a comment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.